Hey guys, it's Gabby in Dr. Nelson's International Media class, Spring 2023 at Valdosta State University. Today we're going to be talking about rape culture in media, specifically international media, as that is the class. And some things we're going to be going over is what is rape culture? How does it differ in different countries? What is the media's role within this? And an article summary and some questions. So the article I chose for this class was These Women Are Making a Statement Against Rape, and Yet the Only Thing Y'all Can Focus On Is Ew, They're Naked, Exploring Rape Culture on Facebook and South Africa. So essentially what this article and this study was trying to show was how sexual assault on campuses have been identified as a public health problem. And a lot of students across South African universities launched a hashtag End Rape Culture campaign to express their frustration against the university policies which perpetuate rape culture. So what exactly is rape culture? I feel like it's a term that we hear thrown around a lot, but a lot of people are like, well, what exactly is it? Can someone conceptualize it for me? And the thing that is crazy is we've always seen it and just maybe not known what it was. And we see this in Greek mythology. A lot of Greek mythology stories, one in specific is the all-known Medusa story. And as we may know, Medusa she's this monstrous snake-headed woman who preys on men of all ages. We see it in popular culture like the Percy Jackson movies. We see it everywhere. We see it all over media. But something that is not known is the reason she is this monstrous snake-head woman is due to her rape experience that she had by the sea god Poseidon. She was trying to seek shelter, as we see in the article, within Athena's sacred temple, and Poseidon is trying to do the deed with her, and she's like, no thank you, I'm okay. And so he rapes her, and Athena's mad that this went on in her temple, and as opposed to attacking Poseidon, she blames Medusa, hence rape culture. Because rape culture, as we see, is where sexual violence is the norm and victims are constantly blamed. After further research about this topic, because it is something that has interested me a lot, I found out that South Africa is actually labeled the rape capital of the world, which is really sad, and it brings this article into light why these students were so frustrated. Now, this brings me to my big point of how does it differ in different countries? Because in order to understand international media, it's important to understand, well, what's going on in the country. I believe personally that it's a spectrum. So if you were to take, say, a straight line and you put Western culture all the way on one side, and then you trickle out the other cultures of different countries throughout the rest of the spectrum, you have on our side of Western culture, we value women a little bit more. We notice sexism, even though it still happens. We have rules and laws and things in place to avoid it the best we can. And also we know rape culture. We've taken the time to study it because we're able to. We have the resources to. We have the freedom to, where other countries don't. Other countries are still battling not respecting women being killed for showing their ankles. Child marriages are still something that's battled in other countries. So their concern may not be this woke idea of rape culture because they don't have time to worry about it, which I know is a big thing we've discussed in class, is that our issues in Western culture are not the same issues that are in other cultures because there's just no way. They have way more things to deal with. And something interesting is someone in India is raped every 15 minutes, but someone in the United States is maybe sexually assaulted every 2 hours, which still is not good, but if you have to compare it to other places in the world, like, we've come a lot farther. So what is the media's role within rape culture? I think that's something that's still being developed in other countries. As we've said, it's not the concern of other countries because they're still worried about basic things like getting food, getting taken care of fairly. And in America, we don't necessarily have that issue as much as other countries do. So we can have the time to worry about these more woke ideas, such as rape culture. I think the media is still wrapped within this idea of rape culture and that normalization of sexual violence, because you see a lot of people in media say, well, if you didn't dress like that, you wouldn't be sexually assaulted, or maybe you should cover up a little bit more. And that's the same in other countries, except it's about 10 times worse, because women will literally, if they get raped, sometimes they get killed because they're no longer pure. And they're fully covered up except for everything but their eyes. We see it all the time. And we hear about it all the time. And victim blaming is a big part of rape culture discourse because it relates to that normalization, as we see within the article. So when you look at victim blaming within the article, we see some user comments by men. No offense to the men, because women do the same thing. This is just what's in the article. They say, by exposing your body, you are creating more rapists, my dear. Would rather demonstrate fully covered to stop any potential rapist. As it stands, you are very inviting. So just to summarize the article a little bit, it was a study that was done to explore rape culture discourses resulting from reactions towards that hashtag end rape culture and naked protest in South Africa campuses, which this was in April 2016. It was very similar to different studies that they have done showing that social media, to even answer that what is media's role, plays a key role within this. It's not only drawing attention to the protest, but it's providing a space for people to engage in debate, even if they don't agree with the protest, which is important, again, in Western culture, to both have your say. It's not the same in other countries. And these findings within this suggest that rape culture discourses are prominent within common threads. Because of course it is. Because people are normalizing victim blaming. They're normalizing this violence. And it's not even their fault. That's just how we've been herded throughout many, many, many years. And as we watch this and we see this, there was a change of access to the social media and communication technologies, which allowed people to discuss issues around rape. And again, we've talked about that in class too. We have computers, cell phones. There's some countries, they don't have cell phones that aren't constantly looked at by their government. Sometimes they don't even have it. Some countries just got radio. So how can they know about rape culture and prevent it if they're still getting basic things that we take advantage of every day? And lastly, my question for the class is there a better way rape culture can be introduced in other countries? Do you believe this is beyond the media's control? And lastly, is this just something we in a Western woke culture bring importance to?